What is going on, Twintendo Nation? I hope you're having an awesome day. And in today's video we're going to be looking at the potential locations for the Sinnoh legendary Pokemon. Now this video is a follow-on from one I made a while ago which covered the first 3 generations of legendary Pokemon. If you haven't seen it, the link is in the description. Do check it out, it's a lot of fun and I know a lot of you guys enjoyed it. Also, I made that video before the beta was released, so that's why it includes Pokemon from Generation 2 and Generation 3, because obviously in the beta it only contains Generation 1. We don't know if the final game is going to be like that, but we're assuming it is going to be. But you know, a lot of you guys wanted me to cover the remaining generations, so I thought it would be a good way to keep you guys excited about Pokemon Go. Now, instead of covering 38 legendaries in one video, I thought I'd split them up into their respective generations. And just like the last video, this series is just a bit of fun, so don't take it too seriously. Also, let me know if there are other suitable areas for these legendaries in the comments below. And without further ado guys, let's get straight into this video. So firstly, we're going to start off with Sinnoh's legendary trio, Uxie, Mesprit and Azelf. Now I placed these legendary Pokemon at 3 different lakes in the Great Lakes of North America, and the lakes they're in are corresponding to where they were located in Sinnoh. So first of all, Uxie can be found at Lake Superior, which is most northern, I'd say, the most northern lake of the Great Lakes. Because Lake Acuity, where Uxie is found in the games, is at the most northern part of Sinnoh, I thought it would make sense to choose the most northern lakes of the Great Lakes. So Lake Superior is kind of found between Canada and the United States, and it's considered to be one of the largest freshwater lakes in the world, and I just think it's a really suitable place to find one of these legendary Pokemon. But anyway, moving on to Mesprit, I have chosen Lake Michigan for the location of that legendary Pokemon, and this is because Lake Verity is also based in the west of Sinnoh, and this is the most western of the 5 Great Lakes. And incidentally, this is the only one that can be found in North America only, because the other 4 Great Lakes are shared by the United States and Canada. And it's also the 2nd largest of the Great Lakes by volume and the 3rd largest by surface area, so I think it's again a very good location to find one of these legendary Pokemon, and it's just kind of suited in terms of geographical locations in comparison to Sinnoh, and that's why I put Mesprit at Lake Michigan. Next up for Azelf, I've decided to place it at Lake Huron, which is very close to Lake Michigan and Lake Superior, but it's the furthest to the east, which is similar to Lake Valor, where Azelf is found in Sinnoh. Now again, Lake Huron is one of the 5 Great Lakes of North America, and it's definitely one of the biggest because it's the 2nd largest of the Great Lakes, and it's also the 3rd largest freshwater lake on the planet, which is pretty impressive. So I definitely see a legendary Pokemon living among here somewhere. And I also think Lake Superior and Lake Michigan are very suitable for Uxie and Mesprit respectively, and if these Pokemon are eventually included in Pokemon Go, I hope we can find them somewhere near the Great Lakes. I think it would be really cool, add to the realism, but then again, there is that debate whether they should just be found in cities so they're easy to catch, or they should be placed in realistic locations like they would be in the game. So guys, let me know in the comments below which you'd rather prefer, legendaries in cities so they're easy to obtain, or more realistic locations so they're more difficult to find, but then again the reward is a lot greater if you do catch one. But anyway, let's move on to Dialga and Palkia, and for this I have chosen the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. Now the reason why I've chosen the Sagrada Familia for both of these Pokemon is because the film The Rise of Darkrai is heavily based off Barcelona, and one of the key areas in that film is the Space-Time Tower, which is clearly based off the Sagrada Familia, and it's definitely one of the most impressive buildings in the world. I can't wait to see it completed, if it ever will be, and I think it's a perfect location to find Dialga and Palkia. It's pretty easily accessible, and it's one of the best tourist locations in the world, and for that reason I think Dialga and Palkia are perfectly suited to be found there. Next up for Heatran, I have chosen the volcano Krakatoa, which is very famous, as you guys have probably heard of it, and it's a volcanic island located in Indonesia. It's definitely one of the most violent volcanoes on the planet because its 1883 eruption killed more than 36,000 people, and apparently it's considered to be one of the loudest sounds ever heard in modern history, with reports of it being heard up to 3,000 miles or 4,800 kilometers away, which is crazy. So I think a volcano like that is definitely suited for a legendary Pokemon, and I think Heatran would definitely feel at home there. Now, I quickly must reiterate, don't take this list too seriously. I know a lot of you guys will probably be like, well, I can't go to Krakatoa, it's in the middle of nowhere, it's a dangerous place. Remember, this is just where I think Heatran would be located if it was found on Earth. However, if you are lucky enough to ever get the chance to visit Krakatoa, definitely take Pokemon Go with you just to see if Heatran could be located there, just saying. But anyway, let's move on to the next legendary Pokemon, which is Regigigas. Now for Regigigas, I have chosen Giant's Causeway, which is located in Northern Ireland. Now it's declared as a World Heritage Site. It's pretty amazing by the looks of it, as you guys can see, and it's also a National Nature Reserve, and it's also the 4th greatest natural wonder in the United Kingdom, for anyone that was wondering. Now these columns were created by an ancient volcanic eruption, but according to legend, they were actually remains of a causeway built by a giant. So I personally think Regigigas is very, very suited to being found on Giant's Causeway. Definitely a place that attracts a lot of tourists, and I think it would be a really, really cool location. Just suits Regigigas. Looking at that picture with Regigigas on there, I don't know, it just feels like it's at home, and I personally couldn't think of a better location for it. But anyway, next up we have Giratina, and for Giratina's location I've chosen a place that not many people will have heard of, and this place is Yomotsu Hirosaka, located in Higashizumo in the Shimane prefecture of Japan. It's also known as the entrance to the underworld. Now since this area is the gateway to the realm of the dead, I think Giratina will be perfectly suited here. You can definitely make comparisons between the underworld and the distortion world where Giratina resides, so I definitely think it's a perfect location, and personally I'd love to see Giratina located here. Now next up is Cresselia, and I kind of struggled to find a suitable location for Cresselia, but I had to choose a location that I kind of didn't want to, which is Molokini, located in Hawaii. And obviously the reason I didn't want to choose a Hawaiian destination is because obviously we could find legendary Pokemon there in Sun and Moon. However, this place is very, very suited to Cresselia. As you guys can see, Molokini is a crescent-shaped volcanic crater, and I think it's pretty cool. It's definitely suited for Cresselia. I just kind of feel wrong choosing it. But yeah, I can definitely imagine Cresselia being located here. Molokini is actually a popular tourist destination in Hawaii for scuba diving and snorkeling, but I can definitely imagine taking your boat out there, and instead of snorkeling and scuba diving, you're trying to catch a wild Cresselia. So I could definitely see Cresselia being here. I just kind of didn't want to pick a Hawaiian location. But anyway, let's move on to the next legendary location, which is the Great Barrier Reef, which is for Phione and Manaphy. Now the Great Barrier Reef is the world's largest coral reef system, and it's located off the coast of Queensland, Australia. It's definitely a place that I'm sure the majority of you guys have heard, and it's definitely a suitable location for Phione and Manaphy. Now there is that debate that Manaphy was found in a colder location and Phione was found in a warmer location according to their Pokedexes, but I definitely feel like they should be sharing the same location. Phione and Manaphy definitely deserve to be in an amazing place like the Great Barrier Reef. And after watching the Manaphy film a couple of times, although it may not be located or based off the Great Barrier Reef or Australia, I definitely feel like it's a suitable location to find some amazing species of Pokemon like they did in the film. There were loads of sea Pokemon, and I think this is a perfect location for Phione and Manaphy to reside. And the Great Barrier Reef is a very popular tourist location, and I think personally it would be a great location to place Phione and Manaphy. So they're easy to access, but it's also a realistic location. And that's why I've chosen the Great Barrier Reef for Phione and Manaphy. But anyway, next up is Darkrai, and for this we've chosen Parkwell in Barcelona. Now this location was actually recommended by one of my fans on Twitter, the Caesar ML, so shout out to them for helping me come up with a location for Darkrai. Now Parkwell also featured in the Rise of Darkrai film, and it's a public park system which was created by Antoni Gaudi, who also designed the Sagrada Familia. As you guys can see, it's an amazing location, and it was declared a World Heritage Site back in 1984. So I definitely think this is a perfect location for Darkrai. Again, a tourist attraction, and it's very close to the Sagrada Familia where Dialga and Palkia would be located in my opinion. So I definitely think it's a place worth visiting Barcelona if you want to get some amazing Sinnoh legendary Pokemon. But anyway, next up we have Shaymin, and originally I was going to choose a location in Holland or the Netherlands because they have a lot of flowers there and I thought it would be a really nice location. However, there's a really suitable location in Canada in a place called Agassiz. I think that's how you pronounce it. Now as you guys can see from the pictures, this place looks incredible. There's a mountain range in the background which for me I think is more suitable of Sinnoh instead of the flatlands of Holland. I think Sinnoh was definitely a mountainous region, and for that reason I think Shaymin is perfectly suited here. Now as you guys can see, the flowers are very similar to the ones of Floroma Town, where it's theorised that Shaymin was the cause of the sudden burst of flowers. This kind of seems very similar here. There's loads of flowers in this kind of bleak and desolate mountain range. It just seems to be an incredible location. I can definitely imagine Shaymin being here, and I know a lot of you guys are thinking the same thing, and for that reason I'd love to see Shaymin located here in Pokemon Go. Now finally we're going to move on to Arceus, and for Arceus' location I've chosen Acropolis in Greece. Now Acropolis is found in the city of Athens. Now this place definitely reminds me of Spear Pillar, which was located on Mount Coronet in Diamond and Pearl and Platinum. I definitely think it's suited for Arceus. I was originally going to choose the Vatican City because I know a lot of you guys suggested that in the previous video, and it's definitely a suitable location, but I don't know, this place just looks like it was made for a legendary Pokemon, especially like Arceus. Very similar to Spear Pillar, and again, it's a very famous tourist location. If I could get an Arceus just by travelling to this place, it would definitely be worth it because 1, it looks amazing, and 2, you'd be getting an Arceus, so definitely think Arceus should be located here. But guys, let me know what you think about any of these legendaries. Do you agree with any of my decisions, or do you have other ideas for them? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, definitely hit a like on it, really appreciate it. And if you're new to the Twintendo Nation, definitely hit the subscribe button. Also, if you haven't seen the previous potential legendary locations video, that is on screen now. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. And that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. I will be making the next legendary locations video for Pokemon Go, which will be focusing on the Unova legendaries. So definitely look forward to that if you're a big fan of Black and White and Black and White 2. And anyway, guys, I hope you have an awesome day, and I will see you on the next video. Peace!